Welcome to the Banter, sponsored by Berserk Athletics. I stand up, whatever, for all your custom uniform needs. The man that is with me today, a good friend, a man that doesn't need a lot of introduction to people who know him. Hobbsy, welcome to the show, my friend.
What is up, my friend? How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, brother, but hold on. For you,
Oh, oh my, yes,
I
sir.
told you. Told you. It's time to popping up with the drinks, man.
My, yeah, that was me. I ain't drinking a long time. Lord knows I've had to drink a lot, but and I walked out in the kitchen and my old lady was looking at me. And wife's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm gonna talk to Big Dave." So I was like, "Let me see what we got in here." And I'm looking around, and our first date, I took her to. There used to be this little distillery in Smithville called Platte Valley Distillery, and they made cinnamon moonshine. And of course, obviously, the cinnamon, I'm like, oh, I'll have that. So it's been sitting in there for probably 4 years. So I busted it out, and it still feels like I thought it would.
I told you, brother, I said, we're going to unleash it. Hey, Crown Royal, if you're watching, I'll take the sponsorship.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
No, sir.
Put a little whiskey in it.
Yes, sir. Hey, I just had a little more. Call it good.
Right?
Well, first off, my friend, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get this out of the way because I'm sure you have opinions.
All right.
Shohei.
Aha.
700 mil, 10 years.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
It's not bad for a kid I shouldn't say kid, but yeah, for a kid that's not gonna pitch until 2025. First off, but I mean, dude, first off, obviously we all missed the boat. Major League Baseball, $700 million, 70 a year.
Yeah.
Good Lord, man. I was looking at that. Somebody, it's already on social media, but someone was like breaking down like the at bat like per game stuff.
Yeah.
What is it, like $452,000 a game?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But, I mean, you're a student of the game, no matter how old we get. You know how it is.
Yep.
We've never seen anything like this.
No.
I mean, Babe Ruth was this, and the fact that I still think it kind of gets taken for granted this day and age that we get to witness it.
Yeah.
Any dude that's Statcast era hitting the hardest baseball, throwing 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
A lefty. Switch hitting, all that.
I think true baseball guys like yourself, me and you, and the countless other, they see what is being put on the field. I don't think the casual fans respect it enough. They just see the numbers.
No.
And man, I'm gonna tell you what I think what they pay. I mean, screw the Dodgers.
Amen to that.
As much as I say screw the Yankees, screw the Dodgers right now.
Agreed.
Two of the most hated teams on my end. But I mean, hell, Yankees signed Soto.
Yeah. Man, and that's like, it's funny you say that too, because like in my mind going into the off season, I'm like, man, Soto's gonna go somewhere. And that the last place I'm thinking, I'm like, please God, don't go to the Yankees. And for anybody that knows you and me, being Boston fans like we are,
yes, sir.
You want to see Soto in as a Red Sox. You want to see any of these guys come to Boston. So we can talk our shit and tell Yankees fans how much they suck at everything.
Yeah.
But now Soto's there. Stanton will be hurt half the year.
Then they signed God dang it, what's his name from Boston?
Verdugo. Alex Verdugo, or Verdugo,
Verdugo, whatever.
And man,
my redheaded Mexican.
You're
goes
aside. Always had the bling on too. Always had just ice.
Shades of Johnny Damon.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be funny to see him all clean cut though, and not
rocking
the bling.
Yeah, no
the bling.
No redheaded Spanish beard. just freckles.
Yep,
just pure freckles.
Man, but I tell you what, man, God, Shohei is, he's a one in a generational talent we'll never see.
Absolutely.
That you and I will see. I mean, we've seen some amazing talent coming up through our lives. We've
Yeah.
seen some of the best, and it's crazy, man, because it's like I sit there and look at all this. Being in Kansas City, you see Hall of Famers and George Brett. You see Hall of Famers. You see guys like Bo Jackson played.
Oh, the
You
Bo.
know, you know, you had guys. Seeing them win World Series in our lifetimes.
Right.
But it's hard to that part of being from Kansas City and the Royals, and now they're just down in the bottom.
And then I seen the other day. I read that Piccolo has got $30 million to spend. Looking to spend, I think $30 million to spend.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So,
yeah.
I mean, go ahead. As far as I'm concerned, you go ahead, fork Bobby Witt whatever you need to.
Yeah.
You want a new stadium, you better get that locked up and get that
agree.
out of the way. And some of those young kids, they're some are fun to watch. There's some potential there, but it's just it's how it is here. It's frustrating for us, being the team that actually won a World Series really on defense and a bunch of grinders, and having that here.
Yeah.
And now it's almost like you see the Dodgers. I mean, I don't know what the payroll there is, but if you're talking, we see that, you see the Soto thing, and you're thinking what do you got? Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Shohei. What's that cost?
It's you lead off Mookie. They had Shohei at the 2, and they had Freddie at the 3.
Yikes.
And the unsung hero and all that is Freddie.
Oh, yeah.
Freddie's just a hitter. I don't know what more you could say. He just rakes the ball, kills it, does everything else. Mookie still breaks my heart. That was like that one girlfriend you just let slip away.
Yeah.
And then you see him off doing good things, and you feel bad to yourself, but it's crazy.
It's funny you say that. Like, I tried to explain to Ashley, like when Mookie left, like how pissed I was, but like at the same time, I'm like, I get it. And then when Xander left, I took that one because Xander was my guy.
Yeah.
And his where Xander went, ain't even gonna lie. I'm like, you know what? But yeah, it's.
I watch Padres games just to watch him play again.
Exactly, same thing. I don't care about anybody else on that team. I want to watch Xander play.
I'm anxious to see how it plays out. If the way, of course, it's going to be built up is Dodgers, Yankees, World Series. But look at this past season.
Yep.
That's how you play the game.
Exactly.
I said it all along. I said one of the wild card teams are going to be in the World Series, and we had 2 wild card teams in the World Series.
Youngsters everywhere.
The baseball fanatic like myself was absolutely awesome.
Hell yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I wanted Harper to win. I wanted Harper to get one.
I do too. I really do.
I want to see Harper get one. I want to see Trout get one. I think Harper's a lot closer than Trout. I wish Trout would leave.
I wish to God they could do to do right by him. I wish Anaheim would do whatever it took to get him into Philly.
Yeah.
Philly has enough youngsters, and that team's talented enough. I would, and I'm pretty sure Trout and Harper are still buddies. I think you put that in there, and that's the best shot they'll ever have.
Oh yeah.
And if they could win one together, I mean, that's baseball, right? That's baseball in a nutshell.
I mean, you think about it, and I say this is like Harper said, you could move me to first base.
Yeah.
Trout, hey, move me to right field.
Right, exactly. Save the body a little bit.
DH me. I mean, you imagine how Shohei's body's going to feel just DHing all year long.
Oh yeah. I guarantee he's going 500 foot there.
Oh, most definitely.
And and this is so weird. You know who I thought of as soon as I saw he signed for the Dodgers?
Who's that?
Jorge. I don't know why. As soon as it came across my phone, I'm like, I bet Jorge's like, hey, just
Yeah,
loving it.
yeah. Also,
God bless that man.
I tell you what, he was one of the greats that would walk the fields of Kansas City with all his antics and everything else, man. But
Singing some random country tune. I'm like, I don't know what the hell that means, but yes,
oh
all of
man,
that.
oh man. Well, man, other than the baseball season, man, the next kind of biggest topic is Florida State,
Dude,
the college football system.
man, that it's it, if you ain't Nick Saban,
Yeah,
uh, is this conversation happening? I guess that's my first
exactly,
question.
exactly.
I know, and if anybody that's naive to think it's not money driven, like completely,
Uh-huh.
now you know. Like
Oh,
Florida State, quarterback gone or not, dude, you can't
yeah,
just say sorry about it. And
man.
it just kind of makes me sick.
It's funny because I looked up, who was the committee.
Yeah,
And I think I posted on Facebook. It was like out of the 13, 9 of them were athletic directors.
of course.
Out of the 4, 3 of them were coaches. One was a player, or 2 were coaches. One was a player, and then that last one was a professor. Like, I mean, it's money driven. I get it,
Oh yeah,
but here's my thing: is like Mike Leach said, the great Leach, whatever, the old college coach that passed away recently.
mm-hmm.
That high school has playoffs.
Yep.
College D3, D2. Let's see, the FCS have the
Yep.
playoffs, and then you have NFL has playoffs.
Exactly.
So why in the hell can't D1 get the playoff system correct?
They need to get it right. They need to get everybody in there because every year, there's that one team every year.
Yeah.
Now, God bless my Horned Frogs. Did they belong in there last year? They earned it, but you don't
that's
know
the
until you get them
thing.
in there to play it. So,
and my argument is everybody goes, oh, Georgia blew them out, and that's why Florida State's not in there. But they had to get by a red hot Michigan team on top of that.
Exactly.
And if anybody watched college football at all last year, there wasn't many beating that Georgia team.
No, that was that defense.
So you still have to play the game.
Right.
You win some, you lose some. You may take an ass kicking, you may give an ass kicking.
Yeah.
You can't punish them for something that happened a year ago.
No.
It's like what you had Ohio State that went with the third string quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, they ended up winning it that year, but you never know. The kid that was their second string
he was good.
And he's out on protocol. He was coming back for that playoff game.
And now it's like you never know.
Yeah. I think
can you imagine? I wonder what would happen if Dion coached Florida State.
I would have said someone else said that.
Yeah, I bet this isn't even that's it's not a question. I bet they're like, you know what?
Third string or not.
Yep, they're good. We'll throw into
third string or not.
Fine. Because just the money, the revenue it would generate.
I'm sitting here watching, last night and watching earlier today and see, it was the FCS, playing. Yes. How come they could figure it out?
You know damn well they got it figured out. It's how a lot of that is. They know. It's just like the steroid era of baseball.
Oh yeah.
We don't know what's going on here. I can't believe this is happening, but I mean, right under your nose. I mean, it's the whole thing. I mean, you look at it and it's just kind of piggybacking off that. You look at Marvin Harrison Jr. right now. If you have $20 to $25 million in NIL money or whatever whatever that you can stay at college for, or Caleb Williams to not go to the NFL. Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, good, get your money, but it's also going to affect the games, the bowl picture. It's all
Well, it's like I go. The problem with the bowl games now is they mean nothing. NIL
exactly
money. Like Bo Nix said, he's not playing. He's going to go prepare for the draft.
yeah,
Caleb Williams not playing.
right.
I mean, I think who is like half or like I think a lot of majority of Georgia guys said,
Right.
we're not going to play. We're going to not play. I mean, college football. I love it. I love seeing college game day every week. I get up and watch it. I watch the games in the morning, games in the afternoon, games at night when I'm not doing something else.
Yeah.
And then this time of the year comes, and I hate it.
Yeah, it sours the whole thing, like the whole year. And
Yeah.
and I guess with me too, what drives me nuts perfectly with the Bo Nix and stuff, and ever since those guys started setting out, I understand the risk you take playing the game.
Oh,
But
yeah.
those guys on that field with you are ready to run through a brick wall and
Yeah.
fight the world for you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
all of a sudden, when it matters the most, when it's supposed to matter the most,
Yeah.
what you worked the whole season for, you sit here and you say, guys, I got $25 million signing bonus waiting for me.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys all understand it.
Yeah.
And good for you. I'm glad you got that talent. But
Yeah.
as a teammate, a part of me is thinking, you know what? Go fuck yourself. Respectfully. Yeah. Here's the first brick wall you're going to run through is me.
Me personally, I look at it and go, what would I do? I'm like you. I was like, I'd probably want to go play. If I was a senior, I understand I may have the NFL. You could start training for the NFL and get injured.
Yeah.
It's happened millions of times.
Exactly.
So, it's like, why not? Why just say, okay, I'm done? I
Yeah.
mean, I get there's millions and millions of dollars out there, but you mean to tell me that Bo Nix wasn't going to come back and have his millions?
Exactly.
Exactly. You fall in the draft, but is he a quarterback is really going to go high up in the draft?
Exactly.
It's crazy, man. What do you think of God, the way they're all leaving the conference, all the conference realignment stuff?
Well, was the Big Ten that's going to be? The Big Ten's getting pretty neat, isn't it?
Yeah, it is getting
Isn't the
pretty.
Big Ten that's getting everybody that here soon is going to have probably? It's going to be fun to watch all the way around.
Yeah,
it goes right back into that stuff, man. Like the conferences dwindle and they move around and stuff. The transfer portal. I saw all the quarterbacks in the transfer portal, like all the different guys. I'm like,
yeah.
All right, well, I guess
they ranked the
this
top
is cool.
10.
I'm out. This is cool. I'm out.
And then they ranked the top 10 of non-quarterbacks, and that was even crazy.
Oh, just loaded.
It's like they had announced the bowl games,
mm-hmm.
and then all over social media is okay. Here's who's in the transfer portal already.
Exactly. It's like I'm leaving.
Absolutely crazy.
Yep.
But college football is crazy. But I mean, if we're gonna talk college football, I do have a question. Your thoughts on old Dion out in Colorado?
Like anybody, it's hard not to love Dion. I love the swagger. I love everything about Dion, how he handles stuff. But a part of me thinks the way he handles Shadur and the other son.
Yeah,
can't think of his name.
Shiloh. Yeah.
I don't. He kind of makes them. What do I want to call it? It's a little much. We'll go with that. Like, he puts them at risk. Like, I know they're good, but let them do that on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Not because they're Dion's kids, but for fuck's sake, man, get a line. If you're going to throw your kid out there and want him to go in the top 10 in the NFL, you want to be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, you're not going to do that if you're breaking your back.
Oh yeah.
And they beat a TCU team that lost everybody.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, and their first couple games, congratulations. The minute they ran into a real football team, it was smacked right in the face, and it was clear as day right then.
like I was telling, or what I was saying, it's like, okay, they won one game last year. And I actually think the Stanford game was the turning point.
Yeah.
I think if they win Stanford, then they're squeak out a couple more wins and they're actually playing in a bowl game.
Yeah, and they were right there. They were right there a couple times.
Yeah, that would have put them at 5 wins. And then you're going in to play, Cal that wasn't any good. I mean, they could have been their 6th win, and they just shit the bed and everything, and it just kind of amazed me. But I think Shadur I didn't understand why he didn't use his legs more.
That pocket quarterback stuff.
He wanted to show that he could be a pocket quarterback.
Yep.
To get to the NFL.
Yep.
I think that hurt him, and physically ended up hurting him.
Yeah.
God, their 2-way player.
Travis?
Travis Hunter.
He's a freak.
He's going to be. I said it the first time I saw him play. He is him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But for sure, there's no doubt about that.
I think them being back to the Big 12 next year is going to be fun to watch.
Oh yeah. Heck yeah.
It's going to be fun to watch. Man, I didn't love Deion the player as much. I love Deion the coach.
Same. Deion as an announcer is where Deion really grew on me then.
Yeah.
And then Deion as a coach. And the thing that's going to follow Deion anywhere he goes, no matter what, he'll always have that thing about him. And in our age, we know it. Deion is going to resonate with the youngsters now more, and they're going to see that, and they're going to be like, "Oh man, this dude is bad. He's a bad dude." And they're still not knowing Bo.
Yeah.
But they're knowing Deion, and Deion, everything about him just screams revenue. Puts on a pair of shades, and they sell $28 million or whatever that bullshit was. One pair of shades, and it's good for Colorado. They needed that. Any team would be good to have that.
Oh yeah.
So it's hard not to root for him. I don't want to. I want them to win. I want them to be in it. It's nice to see somebody like that come up and do it. But I also question how long it's going to be before he's at one of the big boy schools.
Yeah.
I want to see him in the SEC. I would like to see how that goes.
I think it's all going to depend on how he does in the Big 12.
Oh, I agree.
I think the Big 12 football wise is not going to be. You got Texas leaving and Oklahoma leaving, and I think I'd see them go, let them go. I don't, especially Texas. There's nothing about Texas I like.
No.
Oklahoma, I hate seeing go.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like Oklahoma is Big 12.
Yeah.
Like
Big 8.
Yeah,
Big 8, Big 12.
Not Texas. I'm like, whatever. I get it. They've always been there, but I'm like, Oklahoma. I just feel like that's Oklahoma. It just screams Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And of course, in basketball, your boys.
Oh well, yeah.
Congratulations tonight.
That was a fun game to watch.
I don't have to love it, but congratulations. Congratulations.
It's fun to have it back. The rivalry.
Yeah. Heck
the Border Wars game. Yeah. I would love to see it happen on the football field. I love how Lance Leipold is turning around the program.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I'm anxious. Because a lot of people, they talk Kansas, say, "Oh, you just follow basketball." No, I follow all of it. Yeah. I think their baseball team's going to be their college baseball team's going to be pretty damn good too.
They're getting better. Yeah.
They start to. Yeah, they get up. They lost some big names to transfer. I get it. They had the Hawaiian boy that went from to Tennessee.
Yep,
he was an absolutely beast. So it's hard to say, man. They'll have their years, but hey, I love seeing that. The football's back up there and all that thing. I got it. Missouri's climbing back up.
That's right, man.
That
running back. Woo.
The kid's a stud.
He's good.
I don't say a lot. That kid's a stud.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how they handle Ohio State.
Yeah. That's how you'll know if they're really there or if they're still working on it.
Yeah. I see they're getting some recruits.
Yeah,
They're pulling some kids in, but
got the local kid.
yeah, got a local kid. Actually got a few local kids.
Yep.
It's I'll tell you what, it's going to be the kid from Lee Summit North is an absolute beast.
Oh man,
Uh,
he is that's a bad
he,
dude.
I seen some of his highlights in high school. Man, he was a man amongst boys out there.
Like they're like, pick him out. You're like, already did. He's that kid
he,
killing everybody.
he is going to have to put on a little more muscle.
Yeah,
And
he will have to get a beef up a
battle
little
in
bit.
the SEC, yeah, in the SEC. But man, the kid's a gamer, and that's what God. I mean, all the talent we have locally at high school football.
Man, and it's funny you say high school football. So, obviously now that I'm married, Braden, my stepson, is a sophomore,
Uh,
and I forgot how much, because for so long, when I got out of my small town I lived in, and got to city, I just kind of softball took over.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
more than anybody. Like,
yeah,
I missed weddings, I missed it all.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then I would always look at the scores and stuff, and I'd follow the kids, but I didn't realize until you get back to it in the small town and the feel of it, how much you truly fucking geek over it.
Yeah, yeah,
You go from being there kickoffs at 7, you go from being that guy that's there at 7:05 or whatever, or just casually strolling in, to being literally the guy who's up there with Grandpa.
tailgating.
Or taping the fucking blanket to the seat.
Yeah.
And all of the coaches, the new coaches, or everybody else is waving at you or giving you shit because you're wearing shorts in the cold.
Yeah.
And you're just geeking. You're looking at stats, you're looking at everybody in there, and you're like, oh man, that kid's going to be great. That kid's awesome. And, just loving it. And you just full geek over it because, they play it different.
Yeah.
They play it like they should.
I laugh because I went to Grandview. Even though it's a smaller suburb of Kansas City, it was nothing like you see Lawson, nothing like you see Smithville, nothing like you see Kearney, or any of the other small schools around. Friday nights was big, but then it was fun, but nothing like.
Man, they go hard for it.
Yeah.
We played Gate Center this year. It's a 4 or 5A private school out of like over in St. Louis. And we met them in Boonville. That was the same distance for both of us. And I swear to God, our whole town came.
See?
You looked out there and I'm like, apparently everybody and their cousin had circled the day, took the day off of work. You're just like, I guess everybody's here.
Yeah.
It's fun. High school football is, dude, it's changed.
It has.
Oh my God.
It has.
You play a team and they're running the spread better than college teams. You're like, good God. Kids throwing for 450 and 4 tutties.
I sat here, man, and I watched some of our local teams, and then I watch ESPN when they do their high school football games.
Mm-hmm.
The big time, the big time schools.
Oh yeah,
play.
like Long Beach, Cali, and shit.
Yeah,
Poly.
Poly, and my wife too looked at it and she was like, "Do you watch at college?" I'm like, "No, baby, that's high school. That's
exactly.
What? Yeah, these boys, they'll be playing college next year.
Right, that's 12 starters and 12 D1 recruits right there.
Yeah, just right there, just absolutely crushing it. I mean, it's crazy, man. High school football in small town. I try to tell people is if you're from, you don't know unless you've been and you grew up in that small town. What it means that everybody's there Friday nights. What it means to the town. It does. It's different. It's fun. I sit there and now we're in Blue Springs and my kids will go to Blue Springs. I remember the powerhouses that Blue Springs have. They're kind of they're heading up that way again, but then they'll fall back down.
Yeah.
They fall, it's people don't realize that the small towns that all those kids come up through Pee Wee football.
Yep.
And it's the pipeline to the high school.
It is. It really is.
And
it's crazy now too, because I've heard you guys talk, you and Joe talk about baseball and coaching and everything, and like it's no different. It's no doubt now how different kids are.
Yeah.
So the commitment now in whether it be high school baseball, high school football, anything, the commitment that is asked now of the coaches that they have to ask for
Yeah.
is, I think, what makes the game itself so much more competitive and what's the word I want to use? Like serious compared to
Yeah.
what it used to be.
Yeah.
So, and the town goes into it like that and goes all in with that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they already love it, but when it's intense for them, like
Yeah.
they just feed off of it. So
Yeah.
like, and what I've noticed though is like the kids they're just different. Like it's
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and be that guy that says they're softer,
Yeah.
but they're different. Like
They're
how they have to be handled, their desire, what interests them, and that's great. That's awesome.
yeah.
But it is definitely a different mindset.
It is when you say that, and I will say there's a lot of kids that are soft.
Mm-hmm.
And I said a lot. I think a lot of it nowadays. One of the episodes I did with Big Tyrone Davis. I know you know
Oh
who Big
yeah. Oh
Tyrone is.
yeah.
And him and I had the same discussion. It was like kids nowadays lack motivation.
Absolutely.
I think, and I'm guilty of this. I know it. Kids are spoiled.
Yes.
I said my kids are spoiled to death, and sometimes I look at
Mine too.
myself and say, why do I do that?
Every day. Every day.
I have to get up after my boys sometimes and say, you think the game at your age is going to come. It's not.
Uh-uh.
You think you can just turn it on when you want. You're not there, or I don't know if you'll ever be there.
Exactly.
You can't. These kids we live in a society of instant gratification.
Absolutely.
I think James even at one time said it best is, these kids get put in, they put their PlayStation game on easy.
Yep. Roll through
blowouts, blow through it, and they expect life to be that way.
Exactly.
Working hard with coaches, they expect it to be easy. And then when they're challenged, they panic.
Yeah.
They quit.
Yep.
They don't want to be a part of it.
Yep.
And then it's become, well, I don't want to do this. Can we go somewhere that's going to let me shine?
Exactly. And it's that's everywhere. That's the job. Like, the kids that I manage at work, it's
Yeah.
You see it there too.
Yeah.
It's any challenge you put in front of them. You want them to succeed. You want them to want to be better.
Yeah.
And anymore, you can't be that for them. And no matter how you put it in front of them, no matter how you word it, whether you do it in a nice way, a mean way, a direct way, you can't anymore just be like, fucking look, man, you're either going to do it or you're not. And that's on you. That's not on us. So, and I feel like football and the other thing, it's like, it's on you to decide what you want to be. Are you going to be a dog? Are you going to scratch and crawl? Or are you going to be like, and then off to something else?
And it's crazy because it's like my last episode, I did the side on mental health and talk about mental health. And sometimes, I think we forget as parents, we forget as coaches or anything else. Maybe there's underlying things that go on behind the doors. But at the same time, I always said myself, man, it's like you gotta, I say this to my boy a lot. You have to reach down inside of you and find what gets you motivated, that lights that fire.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in a great, part of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was younger, my motivation was, hey, I want to get out of here by my house.
Yeah.
Was it ever going to happen? No, but that's what motivated me to get up and play the game.
Absolutely.
And get better at it. I think, I don't know if you said kids are soft. I think a lot of kids are lazy.
Yeah.
I was talking, it's like, when we grew up, we go outside and play what? Football in the streets all night. Play wiffle ball in the backyard all night.
Exactly. You don't
These
even
kids,
see it. You don't even see it anymore.
yeah,
You know,
you don't.
Lawson's small enough
Uh-huh.
that I remember being little and even coming back to town to see Hubbard
Yeah,
or anything, you know.
yeah,
Driving through town and you would still see kids out in the yard playing football or
yeah,
anything, basketball, you name it. Didn't matter what it was, they were doing something outside. And now, you know, in the springtime and summer, you look for that, and it almost breaks your heart because you look around and it's none of it. It's nowhere. And I get the world we live in is scary and shitty,
yeah,
but I try to keep an open mind and think the world's still good for the most part. And when you see a bunch of kids out, you know, playing the game
yeah,
or playing something,
yeah,
you're like, hell yes. But
yeah.
it sucks that you don't see that anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy because my son and his buddy lives about 2 houses down. They'll be outside for about 15, 20 minutes, and they're saying, "Hey, can we go inside?"
Yeah, that's just
I'm like, "You kidding me?"
yeah. Mama, you know, I remember, dude. You know how it was. You had to drag us inside. Like I
Yeah,
wasn't coming inside. Yeah,
and so my 5-year-old daughter, you have to drag her in.
I love it.
She stay outside all day long. You
I'll
let
tell you
that little
what.
girl.
And anytime you post pictures of her or something hitting balls or something, dude, I
Oh,
love it. I love it.
oh man, she is a firecracker,
I
man. I tell
love
you
that.
what, she has this no quit attitude that she wants to get it done and get it done, her way.
Good.
It's,
Good.
she's doing a little gymnastics right now,
Oh yeah.
and that little girl is constantly wanting to do a handstand, trying her hardest to do a handstand, and she'll sit here for 15 minutes a night, just stop what she's doing with her tablet and just start trying to do handstands
I love it.
for about
That's
15
great.
minutes. Take her, big brother will say, "Hey, can we go hit in the garage?" And she wants to stop him because she wants to get her swings in.
That's awesome. That's
And,
great.
he's all like, and I'm like, "Hey, man, you still got more." No, she wants to hit, let her hit. I'm like, "See, this is why she's going to be better than you."
Yeah, this is what it is. Be like, hey, no, when I'm done
Yeah,
hitting, you're hitting.
yeah, it's, she's a firecracker, man. And
That's awesome.
what I love about her, she does. If you let her stay outside all day, she'll stay outside all day.
Good. Good. There needs to
And
be
I
more of
hope
that.
there does, and I agree with you, man. It's just crazy, man. And but yeah, you stepdaddy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
man. I'll tell you what.
you
I don't.
you're killing it.
And I appreciate that. I don't. I appreciate anytime somebody says that because I can't tell you or put into words in any.
It's hard.
And you know this.
It's hard.
Hard is the understatement of the century.
Yeah.
Like you don't. Not to get emotional about it. You don't even prepare in any
No.
way for
No.
what's going to come at you, and you're
Yeah.
like, and every flaw you have in you,
Yeah.
you don't want them to have it or rub off
Yeah.
on them with it. So
Yeah.
you try to do everything you can right, but
Yeah.
then you fail so much in the process.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
It's
sorry, gets me.
oh
Gets
no,
me.
man. Hey,
Man.
I tell you what, man. It's as they bring out a side of you, brother, that
Oh yeah,
it
instantly
wasn't
breaks you.
there.
Yeah, it's
Well, you have what, 2 girls and 1 boy, right?
yeah, I got and man, I got a freshman girl.
Ooh.
I got a 6th grade girl, and I got a sophomore boy.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, well, sophomore, he's wrestling now. Just got his driver's license. So
Oh.
now he's I bought him a motorcycle over the summer. I was the cool dad. Well, God did that backfire on me because now we got a project bike in the garage we had to go get. So now he's doing that. Katie, she is freshman. She will be the one that probably wears me out at some point. She's she doesn't she likes sports, but just not interested in playing them.
Yeah,
yeah, she's very good at, but she likes band. Very good at band.
Yeah.
Very very sweet girl, like very very good kid.
Yeah.
And then you say firecracker, and so Carly, the 6th grader, she is the firecracker, and I've been around now long enough that there's definitely some of me that's rubbed off on there, and you hear it a lot. So like, and as you know this, there's stages of how a kid can piss you off.
Yeah.
There's like, you know what I mean? There's like the just like what the hell level, like you just shake your head. Then there's like shoulder shrug kind of, and then there's like full blown Jesus Christ, somebody come get this child out of this house, or I got save me. That is that child. So like, I'll say some shit, and then she'll just talk some shit back to me, and I'm like, first off, that was good.
So
second off, ooh.
So
yeah, they're great, man.
Part of the show, part of what I like to do is dig deeper.
Yeah. Sure.
So you don't have to answer if you don't want to, and I totally understand. Get it? Is the real dad involved?
No. Okay. I'll get into this. Yeah, I have no problem talking about this. You know me. So little back history. And I'm sure his mom's not going to care or Ashley won't care that I bring it up. Little back history here is he was a couple years younger than me from where I graduated. Fast forward to now, his effort that he makes to be in their life to me is nothing more than it's pathetic to me.
I understand it.
So
I understand it.
And the why I say that is his mom and dad are both retired and are wonderful people. They're wonderful human beings. They would do anything for those kids at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
You know, they overcompensate for him.
I get it.
Yes. So every other weekend when they should be with him, they're at Nana and Papa's house. So that Braden's grandpa is more of a father than Braden's father is. Yeah. And then there's me, and you know, I'm Michael to him, and that's fun. Yeah. But I'm bonus dad, and you know I'm there for him, and you know, but at the same time I know my place. You know, when they're ready, I'm there. But I never miss anything. I give them that. The most important thing to me at the end of the day is that they have the consistency.
Yep.
That they never have to not worry about. Like they always have something to count on. So I'm never not there. I'm like,
well, hey, brother, thanks, I applaud you because I'm gonna tell you what, man. And many times you and I have talked. That's why I said, hey, this is gonna be a man cave.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Type of discussion, brother. Because sometimes I think in reality, men don't talk enough about stuff like this.
Yeah. They need to.
Yeah, you're raised probably like I was, that men are supposed to hold it in.
Yeah.
Then we forget, we hide our emotions, we don't talk about our emotions and stuff like that, man. And I, like I said, is being the stepdad. My brother-in-law is an excellent stepdad to my niece. Yeah. He kind of took on that role. Her dad was a jackass. I absolutely was.
Oh no, I understand completely.
Yeah,
we all make that face when we make that. Everybody knows.
His came down to really was verge of me spending prison.
Yeah.
You know, the prison term for him, and I applaud him because he stepped up. And he took on my niece as his own, and he does that to this very day.
Yeah.
And to see them interact, man, it was something that was awesome to see, because then I felt like I didn't have to, for once, be that male figure for her.
Yeah.
That I could just be uncle.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people, it's crazy because you realize that my son is my stepson.
Yeah.
And his dad, a very part-time dad.
Yeah.
And I, like you, hey, I'm going to be here. It was a long time coming. And now it's, married mom, and hey, I want to have your last name too, which is awesome to hear. But it's like, there's a lot that goes into that,
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, but at the same time, it's like I was always there. I'm still constantly there. Other than when it comes to band concerts, mom takes that role.
That's it's funny. I make a rule, so it's funny you say that. So Ashley gets on me about it, but I try to, between choir concerts and band concerts, I always make one but I say I'm not going to make the next one, and I'm going to put my
Yeah.
foot down, and I'm not going to go,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
somehow I'm in the car, and
Yeah.
I'm
Go.
cussing, but here I am, and they got me. It's funny you say that. So they got me. I was just on full blown. I'm not going to a band concert strike,
Uh-huh.
and they played some damn song sound like Conan the Barbarian, and as you can imagine, I'm sitting back there just pissed, and all of a sudden I'm like, and I'm in the back seat just being, I'm like, yeah. But it's definitely like that. It's the band. Like I'm like, I'm not doing it, and then of course, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm doing it. But at least I sound like I'm not gonna go.
Yeah.
Like I
You
try to
give
put my
that.
foot down.
And
Yeah, I'm like I ain't gonna do it. And I'm like, all right, I'm doing it. That's fine.
I tell you what, man. First of all, brother, I'm happy to see you happy.
Thank you, thank you. Same to you, my friend.
Man, I tell you what, these kids, they'll drive you nuts.
Woo. It's a patience. You know what? And I liken it to is I lucked out, and I never, everybody, now that you and me not playing softball anymore.
Yeah.
I go back to that because that's just about how anybody would know us.
Yeah.
And it's how our friendship started. You took me under your wing,
Uh-huh.
and were my big brother in it. And I thought about it, and over the years, you look at what you were seeing that you didn't realize you saw it until you become a stepdad or a dad.
Yeah.
So like the dads that we saw, the
Yeah.
perfect example for me is, my buddy Wood,
Uh-huh.
or Canuck.
Yeah.
You see those guys, Hudson.
Yeah.
I think of Hudson back in the I'm like, Jesus Christ, that poor kid. And now look at James. James killing it. And you think of that, and like, I think for me is the best part of all that is what's kind of helped me along is
Yeah.
remembering seeing everything they've done.
Seeing everything. Yeah.
And seeing you go through it before me. And
Yeah.
like we might not talk every day, but we see it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
when
you do.
you're
do.
taking them mental notes, going, you know what?
Yeah.
The guy, the men you respect.
Yeah.
And it helps.
I think so, man, and that's why I said it's I think men sometimes forget that other side to it, where I laugh and at times go, especially when I head down to Northtown and I go, man, whew, and the times we used to have.
Oh my.
And the talks we would say, and like, oh man, we're gonna we're not getting these relationships anymore.
I ain't never getting married.
Doing this, doing that.
Living the bachelor life.
And here we are. And it's it's amazing to see guys who I consider my closest friends doing it, man.
Yeah.
And that's I always say I don't think we get enough of that amongst men. They always talk about the women's side of it, but they never talk about the man side of it. And,
Exactly.
It's like
Agreed.
as much as James can be an asshole and a pain in the ass to a lot of people, you realize you see him killing it on the dad side of things. It's awesome. Canuck has always been that big one too.
Yep.
Guy was always dad first.
Yep.
And single guys never understood it, and it's like you don't understand it till you have a kid.
Exactly.
And things change, man. Which when you're talking about softball, it is going to have to come up.
Yeah.
And the reason why I bring this up is because I went to walk off wood today.
Mm-hmm.
The boy wanted to go up see how a bat was. In fact, I got to give him a shout out real quick because they hooked
sexy.
me up.
That's good looking too, man.
What the Banter.
Oh yeah, he did great work too, man.
So this baby's being displayed. So Trevor, appreciate it, man. All love. And he was talking to me that he was at Just Bats.
Oh, was he now?
And
never heard of
it. Was
never heard of it.
Me and you, and all the jokes aside, and everything else, what got us into softball and us coming about playing softball, and of course we've seen a lot of trendy stuff. I will always say this, and I want your thoughts.
Okay.
About how you were the original, the OG of BP videos before the Just Bat videos, where everybody eventually started doing it. And you still see them from time to time.
Yep.
Not as much,
Yep.
but you still see them.
Yep.
Let's be honest. What were your thoughts when we started seeing them on social media, and on your Facebook Live, your feed, and my Facebook feed? And then when you got everybody with the hit tracks and their exit velos and all that stuff, what do you got to say to those guys?
All right. So first off, let's fast forward to now before we go back into that, because they're gonna get a different response than the ones I see now. So the BP Hero guy, I know a lot of guys know him locally. Matter of fact, Softball Jesus just hold on, my French bulldog is letting me have it back here.
Oh Lord,
come here. You wanna come say hi? You wanna come say hi? Come here. Hold on. Let her say hi. She might calm down. Say hi, guys. That's Rummy.
Listen to her.
She is too. She's just giving it to me. I hear her back there. Ruff, ruff. But yeah, so I think the BP Hero guy is great. Like, I like how he does it. He seems to be very real.
Yeah.
He's a big boy, which I'm already a big fan of that. You know how I am with that. We don't have any. He don't look like he come out the college baseball scene lean, mean, and
no. Yeah.
But in the baseball bros, they're great. I feel like, to me,
I'll tell you. I'll let you finish yours, but I'm gonna tell you what I feel about the baseball bat bros.
To me, I feel like what we were doing and how we went about it. I mean, sure, there was. If I remember correctly, at the time, Kelly's Ultimate Sports was the only ones that did it, and that was that creepy ass dude in the background with that big old man hitting them bombs, and I don't even know if they were bombs, but he'd just be like, "Oh, 450," and I'm like, and I remember like you and me, and then when we got a hold of those, and when you started working there with me, I know you remember how passionate I was about it not being just bullshit, and how mad I would get. The first couple I did, reading that bullshit script about this stupid ass bat that was dog shit.
Yeah.
And and if you remember, I would like try to use like little codes and stuff, and this was all the time. But I would always try to like subtly hint if I thought something was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, I think between the two of us, we probably had 19,756 gamers. But
you had to sell.
Yeah, you got it. You had to.
You had to sell it.
You had to. But what I think we accomplished then, and I see it now, is, to me, we were light years ahead of it. Like, we did the first like real player interactions, I feel like. With Spike and the Combat Boys. When Canuck brought the boys up with Helmer and the boys, and then when Izzy did his thing, I feel like, and we were real, man. Like, you had two big guys out there, no bullshitting, unedited, other than the cuss words that they couldn't show, but unedited, out there just slapping fucking softballs.
Yeah.
You got the good swings, you got the bad swings.
You got it all.
None of us gave a shit if it was 120 miles an hour off the bat. If it went 301 and you were an average softball player, buy the bat. Let's go. If you saw a short little chubby guy hit 301, we're on track. If not, you ain't. It's and then all after that, we had holy shit. Then it went. You know how it went. There was Wheeler. I don't know what happened to Wheeler. I don't know what happened to all of them. I know there's several of them now, and I guess, I hope that what we did, like how we did it, I hope that if nothing else, we inspired the average guy.
Yeah.
But there will always, like, we will always be, no matter, and I'll never, you remind everybody more than I have, but I will always have that warm feeling in my belly that we literally, we did that. And fuck everyone, with all due respect to everyone in KC Softball or anybody else that doesn't think we did that, because we did. So with all due respect to everyone, fuck everyone if you don't think so. And Lord knows we had our haters, especially locally. it's not every day you're the first. You were also the first person to launch their own beards and bats. Have a company, have Fear the Beard jerseys, have
that was
hoodies.
my.
Yeah, we did it. We did all of that. And had I known that Gooder
You
player,
were. I get, especially that you bring it up, and I
Yep.
laugh because
yeah,
his name Ryan Harvey was thrown out there, and he had the. And I was all like, "Do you realize that was already touched?"
Yeah, and
It
don't
was
get me wrong.
already.
You get Brian Wilson from the Giants. I get it. But on the softball thing, we were already Hudson, and think of everything that came from all that. Hudson James has got to look back. All three of us can really laugh about that. There was some Scrap Soldier prototype in there.
Yeah.
Then remember the first Primal batting gloves
that
I got in deep shit wearing in the video?
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I had them on and I was going like this, just trying to everything I could for Hudson's batting gloves. I'm like, yeah. And then, then it went to Berserk and stuff, but I always laugh because when we did beards and bats.
You remember the very first ones that he gave us to test?
Yeah, that we put on and our fucking fingers came out through the top?
I said we had the ones that had the pits, the red ones.
Right.
That by the time we were done with them, it was bald.
Right.
And then the back of the hand, the red faded in from sweating. And then you had the leather ones felt like the work gloves everybody wears now.
Yeah. He was ahead of the time. You should have just left them.
He should have left them. Then he would have been selling those things for.
You put a couple of them one first pairs on, look like fucking ET's glove. You put it on the pinkies over here. I'm like, but yeah, when we did Fear the Beard, and Hudson, shout out. I'll always love that dude for backing me on that and being supportive of that. And what we were able to do with the Fear the Beard hoodies and stuff, like, dude, it
was a cult following.
It was awesome. And then if Cody Hall sees this, him especially, God bless him for this. If anybody has ever gotten more fired up about Gooder player than Cody Hall, I would like to know who it is. So
and that phrase
and
the phrase Gooder player,
and how long it came like I was done playing and I'm still hearing it.
Originated from you.
Yeah, on the back of the T-shirt, and I'll never forget showing some kids that didn't know what that was. I'm like, dude, first T-shirt. This was shit, bud. You're probably the kid was a freshman in high school probably when we made that.
Yeah. And people didn't realize, and the word has now you hear it all over the place.
God, yes.
And it's like, I don't care. It came across online. It came through social media. Someone else said it.
Yeah.
Someone else has said it, and it just taken off.
And the funniest thing about that, so there's so many goofy ass stories of how that came about. Like where it even came from, and no bullshit. God bless Scotty Collins.
Yeah.
And that's where it originated. Me and Scott Collins are at a Cameron slow pitch tournament. Just a bullshit fundraiser tournament. And we're sitting behind watching this guy hit. Back then he was wristbands guy, fucking, you name it, had it on. Probably was swinging a fucking shaved Easton Flex or something back then. Had all that stuff. And you know how me and Scotty were.
Yeah.
So Scotty and me are sitting behind him, and he's like, God, that guy's good. And I'm like, yeah, I wish we could be more good. And he's like, yeah, like more good. And I'm like, yeah, like Gooder. And he's like, man, it'd probably be good to be Gooder. And I'm like, we should be Gooder. And of course, then you know how that went. You give me and Scotty anything to roll with like that, and then you know what? That whole forever, Gooder player, and I cracked
Shout
up
out
that
to
shit.
Scotty Collins, man.
Scotty.
I miss that guy, man. He was a great guy to have around.
I get to run into Scotty doing the dad thing. His oldest son is an absolute fucking stud wrestler.
That's what I hear.
So
that's what I hear.
I'm actually excited that here in a few weeks, the Excelsior tournament, I will get to see Scotty Collins, and there are not very many things I get more excited about than getting to see Scotty Collins.
You tell him I said, "What's up, man?"
I will.
I haven't seen that guy in a long time, man.
God, he's awesome. He was great, man.
But
think of that old Rocktown team, man. That was a crew.
Oh, that was a crew. But I mean, that leads me to stuff, man. It's like, you go back when you started playing, and
Yeah.
I say this a lot to a lot of people, and I'm sure you feel the same way. I never considered myself a true softball player.
Mm-mm.
I consider myself still a baseball player who just played softball.
Yep.
I
Absolutely.
I hear some of these guys on podcasts, and they talked about hitting against some of the elite pitchers that play conference ball, and
Yep.
I get it, but in my mind, I still said it's still coming underhand,
It's always coming underhand.
and
Man,
you know,
you know how it is. Like I always likened it to, and gonna go here with that. So think of some of the turkey tourney teams or some of the teams you and me
yeah,
played on and stuff, and
yeah,
think of all the fucking haters that would talk shit about like,
yeah,
oh, these two are on that team, for
yeah,
this or that or that, and they always thought it's all
yeah,
they bought it or all they did this, and I think one of the reasons like where I always got along with some of those other players and stuff, or the whatever they are would be
yeah.
considered now, you know, is I at the end of the day,
They're people.
just that mindset we had as baseball players, they're people. I
Yeah,
didn't give two shits if one of them could hit
yeah,
a softball 450 foot. I gave a shit if he could sit out there and out drink me with some whiskey and
yeah,
talk shit as long as I could.
yeah,
And if he couldn't, I didn't care. Are you a good dude? Do you
yeah.
want to chop it up? And if
That
you don't, go fuck yourself. It was that
that
simple. And I wasn't there to make friends. I was there to, have a good time. And that was
and
my friends for the day.
that's how I looked at it. It was all like, there's nothing you do that I haven't seen. Like, and no offense to them because they're great ball players,
Hell yeah. Hell
but
yeah.
it's like you put on your ball pants the same way I do.
Yeah.
Where
We're all hitting the
structural,
yellow ball.
or hitting a yellow ball coming in underhanded.
Right?
You hit it 400 feet. I hit it 301. Guess what? Yours may look impressive,
Yep.
but mine still was the same amount of runs as yours did.
Exactly.
It's like, I always get to these discussions even since I walked away from the game, and I still go, I'm more impressed about guys who can swing and keep the ball down
Right?
and be a hitter
Yep.
and not swing and it goes out every other
Right?
at bat.
Exactly. It's amazing. Like if they can, the baseball kids that could actually, the
Yeah,
kids that actually spray the ball around and
yeah,
play the game now as maybe it's evolved
yeah,
to more of a baseball game and they play it that way and it's awesome. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. If you want to drop dick 400 feet, that's awesome. More power to you.
yeah,
But these days, when I see a kid that's a $170 doing it,
yeah.
that's great. Now you give me a kid that's a $170 that's batting fucking 960 for a tournament with
Mm-hmm.
nothing but backside boogies and like
Yeah,
flare shots, and he's doing it with a
yeah.
little bat flip and just proud of it. I'll take it all
I
day. I love it.
I see, yeah, like you. I see guys out here, 170 pounds, never picked up a bat before in their life, other than in little league. Played, football, basketball, whatever other sport, and then they come in and hit bombs.
Yeah,
Okay, awesome. And
yeah,
my biggest rebuttal is always say, could you take a wood bat
yep,
and hit a small white ball as hard and as consistent as you could something this big and basically a trampoline of a bat?
exactly. I mean,
Not a
look
lot
at
can do it.
no, look at how many. Look at. I don't mean this bad because God love them all. I mean, all due respect to all of them, but look at how many just athletes
Yeah.
became great softball players, and
Oh
then
yeah.
and what you truly usually see, and if you think
Yeah.
about it, think of the I don't know, like, but before we stopped playing, I look at, God rest his soul, rest in peace. I look at Cassius. I look at,
Yeah.
uh, you know, he's the number one. Tommy, Brandon
Yes.
Weems,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Loomis,
Hmm.
all of those guys, and guys like that. And you look, every one of them, if you look at their background,
Yeah.
baseball,
Baseball. Yep.
baseball first,
Yep.
and you knew like they always stood out differently
Yeah.
than and there's countless guys. I'm not trying to leave anybody out, but there's so many
Yeah.
of those young guys that we were seeing that were coming up that were you knew what they were going to be. They were going to be
Yeah.
able to hit 800, 900 a tournament, spray the ball wherever they want, hit a tank, and do it the right way instead of
Yeah.
some of the when I was leaving is when I really started seeing it as, I don't know, man. So just
The game changed.
everybody got all in their feelings again about dumb shit, hitting me. I don't know. It wasn't even competitive anymore. It was just fucking pout fest. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, shut. And then keyboard warriors. Oh, this
Yeah.
guy's and now, I'm still on a couple of them groups, but like, what? I don't know what the fuck a C chip is or any of it. I didn't have a clue what the fuck is all this. What are we playing? Poker? Are we playing softball? It's like, I don't know how KO does it, man. Like, good for her. Like, man, if I when you did that interview, I'm like, I literally wanted to be like, man, I wish I'd call KO and be like, I don't know how you're doing this, but god damn it, great, because you know the history of that. You and me did our WSL thing, and looking at it now, I'm like, me and Dave, there ain't. If that would have been successful, you and me would have fucking killed somebody.
Yeah.
Because they'd have been like,
I tell her
this guy's playing on this team or that guy. Shut up.
I applaud her for what she takes.
Yeah.
And I know she's had
Never
to take
enough,
kind
man.
of it's, I one of my biggest questions to her is I asked her, I said, did you feel like, you gave and gave and gave that now you kind of created, and she said, yeah, it's
kind of built it to be this way.
But at the same time, the hate, to me, it's like all the haters she has.
Yeah.
It's like
heavy lies the crown in when you're as big as she is in it with it now. Like,
yeah,
I would challenge anybody.
I
We can all say it's just like coaching. NFL, watching an NFL game.
Yeah.
Man, we're all fucking couch coaches.
Yeah.
And just because I fucking know what an airplane is doesn't mean I can fly one.
Yeah.
And what she's been able to accomplish and keep going no matter what through everything. Holy shit, man! Grow the women's game.
Yeah.
Which is
shout out to TT because
TT killing it.
She gives her shouts out to TT. TT absolutely killed it with the women's game. I love seeing the women's game grow. It's hard because I don't pay attention to it. I mean, I just like you. I am part of the group or two still. Yeah. Sometimes it's like I don't even see. I love reading the bullshit that goes on. Yes. People complain.
It's always there's always some
crack up. I could give two shits less about it anymore.
You know what? I'll always give myself a little self high five for. I don't. If you think about it, there was a little co-ed team I had one time that if I'm not mistaken, every goddamn girl that was on that team almost is killing it.
Conference.
Killing it.
Conference.
Yeah. Whitney, Tolbert, ladies, killing it.
I tell you what, man, it's the game has changed.
Yeah.
I don't miss it.
No.
At all. I don't miss it at all. Some of the people I miss.
Absolutely. Yep.
Like yourself and a couple others, but it's to me. I always said when I walked away from the game, and I was the biggest, dumbest word in slow pitch softballs. People say family.
Yep.
Because when you walk away from it, you'll be surprised how many phone calls you get.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, I mean more phone. Hey, what's up, man? What are you doing this weekend? Type phone calls. You don't get them anymore.
And off of that, and it's still sucks, but and then when you do get a phone call, it's not one you want. You know, it's like this past year. That's not one you want. And it's for me. I didn't. Walking away was fine. I didn't miss it.
No.
But I missed. You don't realize, like, you and some of those guys, how much you miss them because they are. You're not. You don't want to say family, but they are like brothers. In a sense, some of them turn more into, like you said, some of them that phone never rings.
Yep.
Some of the ones that do reach out to you or you stay in contact with are not ones you would have thought at all.
Yeah.
Like, perfect example. When I met Cody had already known Cassius and Big Doug and all those guys, and was Bob Guerra, God bless him. All those guys.
God bless
Cody was always in already knew all them. And then when I got to know Cody, it was you know how it was with me at the time. Like you could take me or leave me. I was not a fucking charming person by any means. 90% of the time I was drunk. But if I loved you, I loved you. And Cody kind of peeled onions back with me kind of later time trying to figure each other out just for a little bit. And I ended up to this day. So there are guys that you miss and then like you'd love to run into. And Cody didn't even play that much. But I always look forward to seeing him. No matter, I haven't seen Doug in forever, but no matter when.
I ran into Doug at Brew and Brew when I worked the trailer.
Yep. No matter, that would, if I ran into Doug, I'm sure we would bullshit forever. Tommy,
and
always Tommy.
Yeah. I noticed about Doug is he, you hate to say it, but it was like you could tell him at the ball field seemed a little different.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there because, Cash, I knew him not quite like how you knew him. A lot of others knew him, but he was a great guy.
And it's funny.
he touched a lot of lives. And I thought, that's the type of guys that made the game and being out at the field's fun.
Right. And where there was, and you remember this, and so a lot of people probably don't. I probably shouldn't be the one to talk about it. I don't care though. But you go back to the Northland boys and the Southland, like Southside, like all the Kansas boys and stuff. When Cash was coming up, he was a little younger than me, but that Prodigy team is really what started waking up. The Kansas boys were like, all right, there's some Missouri boys, and then you had Doug kind of put us all together and mixed and matched, and it was more Northland guys. And you Hyman, and you saw that connection with some of us. And the thing about Cassius is like, I'll be the first to admit I didn't go to his celebration thing because I don't do well at shit like that. We all know that.
I agree.
And it would have just been fucking awkward for me to try to. We were all there for the same reason, and I don't want to sound selfish, but at the same time, I was there with Tommy and those guys at the ball field earlier, and was with who I wanted to be with. Like I wanted to be with that inside group, like all those guys. But with Cassius, what Cassius was able to do, and one of the most amazing things about Cassius for softball, and if I'm sure he's already going, but if KO needs to fast forward that boy to every Hall of Fame, everything, fucking yesterday. He needs everything, but his eye for talent and bringing people together in a catty, shady as fuck thing of grown men pretending to be fucking great at a hobby, and the fact that he could blur that line and be so good at it that everyone respected him and be such a fucking dork that you had to love him. And bring so many fucking people together. Cassius had like this. I don't know, like he had a fucking Cassius farm team.
Yeah, he had his group, and
it was crazy. Like the dude had the biggest fucking farm team I've ever seen in my life. So and they just keep coming up now. All the Red Door guys. So when I went to see the boys when Cassius passed away, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at all these kids, and it hit me right then that that is the worst fucking reason ever to have to come together.
I agree.
That is never the reason that I thought I would come back. And B, it made me feel like a piece of shit, honestly, for not coming around more. But at the same time, life is life. I was marriage is still new. There's a lot going on. But at the same time, to see what he did and how many young guys and old guys and everything that man was able to bring together, that should be softball. Like, that's how everyone should. If it could stay like that, fucking A.
It's gone too soon. I mean, it's a tragic event, and it touched a lot of lives in the softball community. And I think that's a part of the softball side. There'd be a few. You hear about some going.
Oh man, Bobby was rough too.
Yeah, Bobby. Bob Garrett was one of those ones. He touched a lot of lives, and man, just sitting down and talking to him was a big thing, and all that stuff, man. And part of the game, I don't miss the competition. I don't miss the, like I said, it's the people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been around the game now. I see it, and it's changed so much.
Yeah, for sure.
The ones I talk to, they complain, how much drama's in it, and
Man, I don't know how they. And some of them,
how
I
do you
keep
do
seeing
it?
them there. I'm like, how are you still doing this, my guy? Damn,
Yeah,
good for you, but
I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
I I still talk to Big Mike Childs quite, from time to time, and
Cousin.
the
Cousin.
Tom officer, I talk to him from time to time. That's really, man. When people say, "Hey," there was no retirement. I quit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Everybody talks about. I laugh when I see, "Oh, I'm retiring this year," and then they're playing the full schedule all next year, and then they're out
Right.
doing this.
Right.
No,
Well, and
because
that was when senior ball came around. I told myself when I hit 40,
yeah,
because 37 is when I stopped, pretty much.
yeah.
And I told myself when I hit 40, when I hit
Uh-huh.
40, when I hit 40, and then I talked to Beck a little bit. Then I kind of kicked the tires on it a little bit. I talked to McGall a little bit about seeing if he was going to do it, and then
Yeah.
then I even talked to I kicked kind of saw what Cody Hall was planning, because how Cody's
Yeah.
always got something up, and wherever Cody is, Tommy's at, and wherever Tommy's at, Barry's at, and they're all somewhere. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, I can go back and pitch, and I'll be fine. And then I thought to myself, I sit there and I'm like, you, my kid, my big fat ass would fucking either die or
Yeah.
swing around and fall on my face.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe someday I'll come out and just swing at something, but I'm done.
I
I just
had no
like to.
goals to play past 50, and then I actually quit prior to that. But I think with me, and I've said it all along, is I went away and the game wasn't fun, and I was more worried about being home next to my kids.
Right.
And that's when I said, "Time. That's it."
Yep. Right.
I let the team know. Look, I got a lot going on. If you need me, I'll be there. If not, if I come around, I come around. But there's two that knew that was it. Like that was it. And I was after that season was done, and they continued on, and they went on to play. I sold all my stuff.
Right.
I said,
I think I got maybe one bat hanging around that's now illegal, because those keep changing.
I don't even have a bat.
Wow.
Only thing I had is a glove, and that's because I got it when my daughter was born.
Yep.
And it has her name on it. That's it.
Hell yeah.
So everything else is.
I think mine was I remember one of the things that pissed me off the most is I hurt my leg, I hurt my bottom of my foot, I hurt my heel pretty bad, then I hurt my calf, and I'm like, started getting hurt a lot. And then when a fucking young kid tried to sell me a bat and told me he was a bat rep, in the history there, and I'm just like, oh, and it doesn't seem like it, but I'm like, Jesus Christ, what am I doing? And I'm just like, and to be honest, let's be real too. If I don't leave that world as much as I drank, we all know, like, there's no secret how much I could pound the booze.
Yeah.
And there were times when it was ridiculous. There were times when it was all right. But every show like that's gotta stop sometime. And and you wake up one morning and you're just like, I can't. This is fuck, man. And it was like, I ain't gonna make it C45 at this rate.
You think even that, man? You set the tone for bat reps around the area.
They got it now, man. Tear it up. Brian Smith killing it.
Oh man, there's so many damn bat reps out there.
Isn't that how you get on a team now? I think you get your performance D chip, and then you're a fucking bat rep. And
I don't know how many damn SIS reps they need out there, but
hey, by the way, still got a code for that. Still do that, but smart enough to know now that baseball bats and fast pitch is where it's at, because
it is.
Fast pitch softball and them girls, holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I don't know what every parent in fast pitch softball does, but good for them. Good for them. Good job, guy. I don't know what you're doing, but send some my way. I'll happily sell you 7 ghosts a year.
I tell you what, man, Baseball is no different.
Dude, right? It's like, man, and think of the bats we had. They were just that's and
Yep.
I know we got off subject and went on to everything else, but I still need this. What's your opinion on these bat bros? Now I get really excited when they swing our
Well,
old bats.
okay. Here's my opinion on them. And I crack up because great content. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong. I
well, it's
absolutely put
well
out
made.
well made, great content. But I don't. I know he sits there and says, "This is my opinion." Awesome. That is your opinion. But at the same time, my boy who swings a drop five, he's on
Yep.
the conversion of being drop eight, drop five.
Yep.
And he is about 110 pounds. You are a 200, 205-pound man
Yep.
who
I know.
played
Yep.
D1 college ball,
Yep.
swinging a composite bat,
Yep.
a 31 drop five or a 32 drop five, with no, like what BB cores have.
Yep.
You are a gold mine for every bat company out there.
Absolutely.
And right now, that biggest bat company is Rawlings / Easton with the
Oh
Easton
yeah.
Height Fire.
Yep.
Here's my thing. So last year he had the big thing was the Cat X or the Cat
Yep.
9 was the
Yep.
his top
Yep.
of the board. Now it's all the Easton Height Fire.
Mm-hmm.
So you have parents who buy into it.
Yep.
You take someone like myself or someone like yourself or the person who knows what bats are about. I know my son at 110 pounds is not going to create the bat speed, is not going to create the proper mechanics to get the best out of that bat.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you hitting a bat
Yep.
390 feet on a hit tracks, getting an exit velo of 115,
Yep.
and you're out on the fields and you're dropping them 390.
Yep.
Which, if you ever notice a lot of his videos, some of those fences are real short.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Absolutely genius marketer.
Hell
The
yeah.
guy is absolutely. I mean, he is informative, especially on the BB core side.
For
I
sure.
love watching his BB core videos, and I love watching his wood bat videos.
Yep.
Those are probably the closest thing.
Yeah. For
But
sure.
when he uses those U-Trip model bats, and what happens is it feeds into the kids, and then the kids see it, and their parents feed into it.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I've seen these Eastern Hot Fires anywhere, and watching my kid play 11U, now 12U, and all this stuff. They do not do the same thing
No.
that you
No, they
think
don't.
they do.
No.
My son tested out the height. He compared it to his Cat X. He tested out the Icon, compared it to his Cat X. Absolutely, it's all about the kids and their feel.
Right.
He liked the Icon over the Height Fire and preferred his Cat X over the Height Fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I feel about him.
No, and you're absolutely right. It like so when I came into Braden's life, I helped coach his team their last 2 years before high school, and one of the things that the kids not knowing me, and me not going into it in detail until after coaching them a little bit, knowing the bat thing and watching all these kids is and I said that I said a lot that I didn't have a lot of baseball dads on the team I was coaching. I had a lot of dads, but I didn't have baseball dads. So, I've got kids coming to practice with a brand new DeMarini Zen or a brand new Louisville this or that. And
but they heard that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, and these kids ain't gonna hit tanks. Man, let's barrel a ball first. Like with anything. Let me go get you the orange plastic wiffle ball bat, like the Bam Bam bat. Let's barrel a ball. Yeah, let's get some barrel first before we start swinging $450 bats. And hell, Braden, God bless him. His first year I came along, I'm like, you're getting a balance. You're getting something balanced that you can get around.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
then it turned into, I'm like, you're going to get a Victus Vandal because
Yeah.
I like what it is.
Yeah.
It's what you need. We're
Yeah.
not hitting tanks. If we're
Yeah.
lucky, we're hitting a double over the first baseman's head,
Yeah.
and we're using our
Yeah.
legs. So we're making contact. Let's get you a bat that you can bunt with and not sting your hands.
Yeah.
Let's start there. And and even now, and I agree with you, man. It's fun to watch for the kids,
Yeah.
but it's awesome to see Adley Rushman and all the guys they have on there and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
That does.
awesome.
Yeah.
But you know as well as I do, it's a bit of false advertisement. I
Yeah.
mean, anybody, and that's what's unfortunate is the general consumer.
Yeah.
Man, they're killing it. That's like a
Yeah.
solid gold bonus, baby, because
Yeah.
you know damn well how many kids rolled up to the park with an Eastern Height Fire the one time, and then they were sold out, and then they were sold out, and then my
Yep.
kid is this bat broke? He ain't hitting bombs. I'm like, and every dad from around here locally or that knew me whose son was coming up, I would sell them whatever bat they wanted for their kid, and I got it.
Yeah.
I understood. But at the same time, I would suggest it. I would be like,
Yeah.
you're going to spend $400 on this bat, or I'm going to get it for you for a good price. But at the end of the day, this is just my opinion, and no
Yeah.
disrespect, but you should probably buy the cheaper bat
Yeah.
and spend the rest of the money on the hitting lessons,
Yeah.
and get the
That
mechanics there. The mechanics will get you where you want to go.
get you where you want to go.
If you're going to go, if your son's the next Derek Cheater or the next big leaguer as you think
Yeah.
he is, I
Yeah.
hope you know that wood bat that's up there is sure as shit not this Eastern
Yeah.
Hype or this Cat 9 or any of this.
And
So you better get the mechanic part right first, because none of that shit's going to matter if you can't hit with it.
that is my biggest issue with it all. Because I say now what happens is now you have kids who are 13, 14. I can't remember 15. High school age is when they got to start using BB core.
Yep.
So you're taking your 12-year-olds, your 13-year-olds, and 14-year-olds that you're getting by with a bat that is going to false advertise for you.
Right.
And I've said it all along, and I've put a wood bat in my boy's hand since he was 8 or 9, and now he's about to turn 12, so he's had a wood bat in his hand. Well, I'll take that back. 7, 8, or 9. When he started basically machine pitch and started getting him the feel of it.
Yeah.
I know that he's going to be able to, once the mechanics get down, to understand what that barrel can do on a composite bat or what, it's like, I mean, too. And that sweet spot is here.
Yep. You ain't got much.
Composite bat is here.
Exactly. I mishit this, and you're like, not with this. You're not. You'll know if you mishit it with this.
And that's how I feel about them.
No.
Like I said, don't get me wrong. I think they put out great content. I'm not by any means bashing them, but he's a great. I mean, I know he comes out and says, "Look, I'm not a rep. I'm not doing this."
Yep.
But you're a hell of a marketer.
Well, and you know that if you're doing that full time,
yeah,
you know damn well.
Yeah.
that them checks are probably getting pretty big. There ain't no way they're not.
It is. And you see more and more guys do it. And I know some of his comments, he gets a lot of backlash and saying you're a grown man hitting a bat made for a 13-year-old, and you're whatever, how old he is, 29, 30, whatever he is.
Yep.
You're out here doing this, man. And they have the, couple as a Kina Juco guy, kind of the same way.
Yeah, that guy.
I love his content.
What's it? Lift big, hit tanks, or whatever t-shirt?
Yeah, lift big, hit tanks.
That's awesome.
I mean, but to me, I think that's what happens sometimes. But that's the world we live in.
It is. That's where we're at with social media and shit. Those kids see that shit, and that's gold to them. It's and again, I hate to always go back to, we didn't have that, but
no,
ours was chicks dig the long ball. Maddox and Glavin and Big Mac and it was commercial. we didn't. There was no fucking bat video of
No,
some dude
no,
hitting with a half
no.
a mullet, curly mullet, hitting just
Yeah.
absolute tanks all over the place. Now, don't get me wrong. You want to, if I could still do it, by God, if I was his age and I got a hold of an Eastern Reflex
Uh-huh.
or a Z Core or the
Yeah.
old stuff like an old Black Magic and shit, if we could go
Yeah.
out there with air attacks and sit and still chop it up and hack with that, hell yes. I think I could probably get one about 205 still.
Well, yeah, that's what's awesome. I go, he tries to control his environment. He tries to
Right.
do, well, it used to be him and his brother,
Yep.
that threw to one another. Now he is probably realized that crap, we got a lot of editing to do.
Yep.
And now it's down to a pitching machine set at about 65.
Right.
Okay, 65 comes majority down the middle. And then you got a rap soda machine out there doing all your,
Yep.
showing everything. I'm like, the guy's got the marketing side of it
Hell
all down.
yes, he's got it down. How
I
hard was
mean,
that hit? What was the speed on that?
yeah, 108. Okay. But a 12-year-old kid's not going to go out there swing that same bat and get 108.
Hell no. He gonna hit it 8.
8, yeah.
Literally 8. What was the speed on that? It didn't read.
My boy
Why?
got
because it fell off the
38.
fucking tee. Yeah. It didn't go there. Dad, this bat's broke. No, the bat's not broke, son.
But
You're
it's like
117 pounds soaking wet.
spend the money and then take the other half and put it on lessons. If you can't teach them yourself.
Yeah. And good Lord, man, just listening to your videos, Joe, James talking about it. The way baseball is now, competitive youth league baseball, holy shit. There's 19,000 baseball hitting coaches out there.
Yeah.
Pick what's best for you. Pick, who your kid responds to best. Spend the money and get it right.
My hardest issue is because I know I can coach it and show people how to hit. I mean, God, I used to have I laugh because I used to have slow pitch people ask me for hitting tips all the time.
I remember.
I've worked with young kids, taught them how to hit.
Yeah.
I can work with my boy and teach him how to hit, but there's only one guy that he will listen to sometimes. That every once in a while I have to say, hey, talk to him. But he tells him the exact same stuff that I do.
Yep, he just needs to hear it from somebody else. Yep, they got to hear it from somebody else.
Hey, shout out to him now. It's Chase Rader.
Oh, my boy Chase.
Chase, got a lot of love for him. He knows what he's doing. And I know he's out there trying to get big things going on his end. He's trying to get some training and stuff and get like a recruiting tool and get kids noticed out there. So that's awesome for him.
And honestly, anybody that is watching this, if you do have kids, and I'm right there with you on Chase. If you're going to go to somebody, or you want somebody, Chase is about as good as it gets. Or and if Tommy, if you can get Tommy Bennett, if you can ever poke the bear big enough to get him to work with your child hitting, you'll be better for it, and no one would handle it better than those two.
Yeah,
and there's more, but.
I mean, you go down the line with I can go down the line with a few of them. But it's also, they would be two of some of the good ones. God, I've seen Joe Miller work with kids. He's awesome to work with. He's what I love about Joe, and I've always said this about Joe, is he's forward. He's kind of like you, kind of like me. He's not going to sugarcoat shit. And he's not going to treat these kids any different way. He's going to keep it real with them,
and they need it. That's it. They need it. It needs to be raw sometimes.
When I take my boy to Chase doesn't sugarcoat it, and he'll push him and get what he needs out of him.
Yeah,
and he's not going. He'll say, "Look, we're buddies. You my little buddy, but no, I ain't gonna put up. I ain't gonna put up with your bullshit, man."
Right, exactly.
We're here to work. So, he's trying to get big things going, man. And I told him, I said, I'm happy for you and all that stuff. And it's been about a year since last time I took him out there. But sometimes when he gets going, I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna have to call Chase on you. Like we're gonna have to fix something.
I like it.
But I know, and I kind of want to touch on this. We kind of revert back. We talked about college football a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're a big Detroit Lions fan.
Yes, hold
Uh,
on. Hold on.
uh, uh,
Hold on. Let's oh, right in front of me. Right in front of me. Let's just go ahead. All right. Yep.
Now,
Yep.
before I started with the team,
Okay.
I'm a big fan of his. I know you are too. And
You talking about
I'm
you talking about God.
the Barry Sanders documentary on Prime, was it Prime Video?
Yep. Man.
What
Whew.
what was your take after you watched it?
That brought back so much, like, my entire childhood. Like, as
Yeah,
far as, like, because you know me, but a perfect example. You know Hubbard.
yeah,
Hubbard would be the best person that would probably ever explain, knowing me from when I was a little guy,
uh-huh,
how much I worshipped that man.
yeah,
So, like, everything to me was Barry Sanders.
yeah,
So, and it was I remember when they did a football life on him, and I was actually kind of pissed at it
yeah,
because, like, it just left it the way it did, and
uh-huh,
it was like, make your own assumptions type
yeah,
of deal, and it just made me
yeah,
kind of like, I'm like, that's not how this
yeah,
needs to be. Like, I didn't feel good about it,
yeah. The
and
way how he walked away. Yeah,
yeah, I'm like, and I remember it because, dude, it was this deep to me. So, like,
yeah,
my 16th birthday, like,
uh-huh,
that year, that Thanksgiving, my Christmas present was to go to the Pontiac Silverdome
uh-huh,
from my mom to see Barry
uh-huh,
Sanders
uh-huh,
and my Detroit Lions play my brother's Pittsburgh Steelers.
uh-huh,
We had no idea, obviously, going into that, how big of a game that would end up being in the
uh-huh,
history of Thanksgiving games.
yeah,
The coin toss. Barry
uh-huh,
Sanders' 15,000th yard
uh-huh,
was in that game. We were there. We had good seats.
yeah,
I'm like, holy
yeah,
shit, this is real life. And then imagine going in that summer, and then boom, he's done.
yeah,
And I'm like, so then I see the preview for the documentary when they first started. I'm like,
yeah,
I tell Ashley, I'm like, holy shit, and I'm
yeah,
just amped. And then, as soon as we watched it, I felt the way they did it was awesome.
yeah.
I don't.
Did you get your answer?
I think I did.
Uh-huh.
I think the way they handled it with his sons and the
Yes.
questions they asked,
Uh-huh.
if you were paying attention, how he answered
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
where he didn't full blown
At the
say it,
end.
but it
Yeah.
would have helped when
Yeah.
he was talking about, if had they surrounded you with better players or gave you a shot when you were watching everybody else do it,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have hurt anything. I think I think if you were watching, and you're a big sports fan, so if back in that time, if you remember when Bobby Ross got there and paid
Yeah.
attention to it, when it wasn't, social media wasn't there like it was now, but
No.
if you read the papers and if you were in it, like really digging into it and
Yeah.
seeing where Barry was at probably then, like, you could see the frustration, and he never seemed like a very arrogant man, obviously. Just
Yeah.
did his thing.
Yeah.
And but as well as anybody does, when you're great and when you're truly great,
Uh-huh.
how can you work as hard as he did, be as great as
Uh-huh.
he was, and how
Uh-huh.
can you not, whether you were man enough to never admit it and you always said the right thing, but deep down inside hold in the fact that you're seeing Emmett, who you're better than.
Yes.
You are better than, with
Yes.
a line of fucking African elephants,
And
a Pro Bowl a Pro Bowl wide receiver, a Pro Bowl quarterback,
he
a stellar defense, and watch them just, and then
yes.
you leave the game, and then a man takes 6 more years or whatever it was to break your fucking record that would have been yours.
Yeah.
The dude, like, it was untouchable. So I think, for me, just being selfish, the fact that he didn't break the record,
Yeah.
I wish he would have broke it for everybody else. Not him, but for
But for everybody
everyone that
else.
wanted him to see it. Like,
Yeah.
I think it would have been But the documentary was great. I thought it was cool that he had all his sons there.
Yeah.
That he brought him back. I thought they did his dad better than A Football Life did, because A Football Life made his dad look like just a piece of shit to me.
Yeah.
Like, I think that they did a much better job with it. I liked who they interviewed too.
His dad to me was, I can say this, he was that era type of dad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
They were hard on you. They try to keep you humble, but they came off as assholes.
Yeah.
And jackasses, when in reality, a lot of them were trying to do is push you to make you better than. I say this, and I'm sure you can start to relate now.
Yeah.
Any father does not feel accomplished until he feels that their sons become better men than them.
Yes, I feel like it becomes your, even if you don't put it as your goal, I feel like
yes,
it is the absolute goal, no matter what.
Yeah,
for that. For sure.
And being a stepdad is one thing, but you still carry that father figure.
Oh yeah.
And that is one thing. Like with me, is I will always feel like I let him down if I don't feel like he turns out to be a better man than I am, or even his real father.
Yeah.
And I think that's the side of what I saw out of Barry's dad in the documentary.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and they did it better.
He was pushing Barry to become better. And I think he always tried to keep him humble.
Yep.
By saying you weren't Jim Brown.
You wasn't Jim, exactly.
You weren't Jim Brown.
Yeah, he's the third best running back behind Jim Brown and me.
But I always, when I watch the documentary and I start picking things apart, and they talked about Emmett, and if you saw all the highlights, that they used, God, Barry was getting touched behind the line of scrimmage
every time.
Emmett
blew through holes and didn't get touched for 25 yards.
Then they showed up one to Emmett where he was already 7 yards down the field before he even got touched.
Exactly.
That's why Emmett is not top 5 to me. Everybody would argue. I said there's, of course, I'm a big Walter Payton fan.
Fuck it, sweetness.
Sweetness. Barry, I said, if you ever watched and you truly watched the game back in the day, Eric Dickerson.
Bad dude.
You got to put Jim Brown up there.
Yeah.
You got to put Jim Brown in there, and there's countless others that you could put ahead of Emmett.
See, dude, and one of mine, if my top 5 kind of varies, but I every time, and I've had heated conversations about this. I'll never understand. I don't know how fucking LaDainian Tomlinson gets left out of the shit all the time.
Yes.
Like every I hear all these running back lists and all this crap, and I sit here and I'm like,
how does he get left out?
Yeah, I'm like, where are we forgetting LaDainian Tomlinson? Like, what the fuck? I'm like, did we miss all that football? I mean, were Peyton and Brady so good that everybody forgot? And you had Peyton, you had Brady, you had Drew Brees, you had all those guys. I'm like, is everybody fucking forgetting? LaDainian Tomlinson was over here just a freak. Freak.
Absolute.
Just killing. And I'm like,
yes.
I'm like, if that dude's not top 5, then what are we doing?
So, when was that first time Barry caught your eye?
Man,
you said, that's my guy.
Okay, so I remember being little, and I started out Christian Okoye.
Yep.
Love me some Nigerian Nightmare.
Yep.
And obviously, even back then, you're a ball. All of us were ball card guys.
Yeah.
Mostly, at some point. And I remember I liked the Seattle Seahawks colors.
Uh-huh.
And one of the odd times there was a football game on and the Lions were on. And at that point was when I liked playing football in the backyard. And I liked to run the football. And and it was too funny because in my mind back then I always put your shoulder down like the Nigerian Nightmare and run over people.
Run over people.
And now, like I said, I go back to Hubbard there because here's Hubbard, older than me.
Yeah.
Here's me walking down, the neighborhood, little Mikey. Here I am strolling down there and like, come play football with us. And it dawned on me really quick. I run into those guys, and my Nigerian nightmare didn't work. And I remember the Lions were on TV one time, and saw this little short running back, and I'm like, hey, and and I'm like, I want to be like that. I'm like, that guy's awesome. And then baseball. I started collecting his football cards and Barry Sanders cards. And then before you knew it, it's just obsessed. So then on Thanksgiving football games, Barry Sanders, the Lions, and I'm like, these guys are terrible. But then I remember in 91, being a little guy and just super fucking hyped.
Yeah.
They got a chance to go to the Super Bowl and fucking Mark goddamn Rippon. What? Washington Redskins and Mark fucking Rippon. I'll never forget it. And I remember sitting in my living room on my grandma's old box TV, in a white, like an old like a white patio chair, like one of them plastic ones, just crying my fucking eyes out. Just Barry lost, just brokenhearted. And then remember starter. I remember my first starter.
Starter
coat. I had a starter Lions coat to pull over. Then I got, and then in Lawson of all places, little country town, everybody Chiefs fan. All of a sudden, here's this kid in a Lions jacket. They're like, the Lions? What the hell? And just watching how he handled himself, man. Never celebrating, never none of that. And then I think what it was is to see just how easy he made shit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just, and it didn't even have to be football. The fact that he made everything look so fucking easy amongst all of those in the NFL, and just made it look like he was never trying. I was fascinated by it. And my love for the Lions, then Megatron came along.
Oh God.
And I'm like, And then Matty Stafford came along, and I'm like, hey. And they were my lovable losers.
Matthew Stafford, to me, before he won, was the closest thing, almost the closest thing to Dan Marino, as a guy that had arm strength, could throw the ball, but was never going to win.
No chance. Yep.
Dan Marino is my absolute favorite quarterback of all time. Yeah.
Freak daddy.
Kind of going back, and the first time I became a Barry fan is he was at Oklahoma State. And they had one of those Saturday evening games, and we went over to a friend's house, and I watched Oklahoma State versus OU. And my buddy's dad, they were big Oklahoma fans, and I saw Barry Sanders get on that and demolish OU.
What was it like?
And I was like, yeah. Because I was the guy that when I grew up, if you were with someone big, I wanted the opposing player.
Yep.
Growing up, basketball, I played a lot of basketball when I grew up. All my friends were Laker fans. I became a Celtics fan.
Right, yep.
Then my hate for the Yankees realized, a lot of guys grew up in the 80s and 70s and stuff like that, and they don't understand like how much Royals and Yankees, how much that rivalry was.
That was real.
How I became such a big Red Sox fan, because now you have another team that hates them just as much. And then I preferred Wade Boggs over George Brett, and then Roger Clemens was my guy.
You're nasty.
Yeah.
And then Red Sox, not Roger Clemens. Young Red Sox, Roger Clemens was a beast. He was a freak. He
was a beast. So it hurts me that both of them turned to the Yankees. It hurt me even more when Wade decided not really to go in as a Red Sox.
Yeah, that sucked. That's tough.
But then I still have Poppy. I still, you still have a lot of the Red Sox. Manny's still Manny. Love old Manny. I would go down.
Manny breaks my heart for not being able to go in more than most. Like, because
let me ask you this:
mm.
you're a baseball guy. I'm a baseball guy. We could probably talk hitting for 2 more hours. Who is a better right-hand hitter, Miggy or Manny?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Manny, I'm sorry. Miggy is Miggy's better. But we're not counting the postseason.
Yeah.
Now, if you ask me about in the postseason, and it's not even fucking close.
Yeah.
But I can't, because I was Miggy. I was at the game against the Royals, right behind the dugout when they pulled him out for the Triple Crown. That alone, and but two of the same guy, kind of.
Yeah.
In a way, kind of just goofy ass dudes that just rip cats.
Let me ask you this, because here's another right-hand hitter. I'll throw in. You give me your rank of the 3: Pujols, Miggy, Manny.
Holy shit!
You didn't come on here and think it was gonna be easy.
God damn it! Shit, because see now you throw Pujols in there and playoff Pujols fucking rake too.
He did.
I gotta go. I gotta go Pujols, Miggy, Manny. I have to. Like
I could flip flop Miggy and Pujols.
Yeah, and that's the thing is either one you can you can literally make a case for hours for either one of them. And with Manny you have the situation, but then you throw the playoffs in there and there's not a person, and I get it. Big Poppy had more clutch home runs.
He did.
Much more clutch home runs, but in any of those runs, and even in Cleveland, when Manny was in Cleveland, baby Manny, I'm not pitching to Manny. I want nothing to do with it.
No.
Like that dude, and then you had grand slams in the mix.
No,
I'm not pitching to Manny with bases loaded either.
Now I tell you what, Big Mike, he's a basketball guy.
But
you want to talk about his Indians, and you'll talk about that Manny Ramirez that Jim told me that Albert Bell, that
Kenny
team,
Lofton, Vizquel,
Kenny Lofton,
Robbie
those
Alomar,
guys, he'll get into it with you. So, well, here's kind of my
Charles
I guess we kind of lead into it too, because then I get into this debate a lot. Is Jeter a top tier shortstop compared to guys like when A-Rod played short or when Barry Larkin was at short?
I feel now I think you even knew this. I was not a Derek Jeter fan. Like I think over the years on Facebook, I think you probably saw many a times me but again goes like Tom Brady. Fuck man, that dude just won. He just won. He has 3,000 hits. He was the face of that franchise when they were what they were. The last time they were that.
Yeah.
You can never take that away from him. To the media, he always said the right thing. And the plays he made when he made something like the playoff play against the Athletics, he had some Jordan-esque moments.
Yeah.
But
I give him that. I still don't think he was quite
in that era, man, I'm gonna sit here like fucking with No More and A-Rod and all those guys. I don't know if he was those guys. He played longer. He stayed healthy longer too.
Here is the biggest debate, and I had about shortstop position. Who was better with the glove, Ozzie or Omar Vizquel?
Ooh. I can't pick one. I can't do it. I'm not. Two reasons. Omar and Robbie Alomar to this day, if like any any baseball fan, or if you're not a baseball fan, any kid, anybody that ever sees this or doesn't see this, if you don't go back on YouTube, God bless it for what it is. If you don't go and try to find every Omar and Robbie Alomar double play turn, or Carlos Baerga, or whoever the fuck he was turning double plays with, if you don't go back and see that, then you're just selling yourself short if you're an infielder. But until anybody makes a play like Ozzie Smith did when he's diving, and I want to say he's a Padre still, and maybe he was early is a card.
Yeah.
This one,
oh yeah,
barehanded.
I think it was early cards.
Yes, and that alone, if nothing else, and it's, again, a toss up. I can't really pick one, but I can throw Ozzy in there for throwing hands. Because Ozzy wasn't afraid to throw hands when somebody came in second hard. I don't picture Omar Vizquel. But no, God, that's another tough one, man. It's, whew. And you know me, like, as baseball guys, like, it's so funny, like, everybody's like who they love.
Yeah.
Like, you and me are Harper guys. My older brother's a diehard baseball guy through and through, and he fucking hates his guts.
Yeah.
Just hates his guts. And I love everything about it. Is
I started to, and this goes to a lot of pro athletes. It's like being Jeter was a Yankee, he hated him. Then he came to the end of his year, you learn to respect him.
Yeah. You look back and saw how fucking good that man was.
Back at him, and then it's like you go. I was that way too. Harper at first I was not sold on.
He's a bad dude.
I see what he's made himself become. He got a lot of bad rep. But when the guy said, I'm all about team first, and then I was like, man, the guy's got to win.
Yep.
So it's hard, because I asked Joe the same question. I probably asked you the same question, is why is it that baseball players, because you have Mike Trout, who will probably go down as one of the best all-around ball players to ever play the game, but nothing will be held against him because he never won a ring. But Dan Marino, who is probably one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, because he never won a ring, it always gets held against him, and he's never discussed in that upper echelon of.
I think, well, when you look at in baseball, the guys that clear, like, as far as championships go, not talent alone, but championships. Yeah. Where you compare is you have guys like Yogi Berra and Jeter, but also you have guys like Paul O'Neill and Tino Martinez that were on those teams.
Yeah,
and I think
Bernie Williams.
Bernie Williams and Posada. You know, you see guys, and I think you know where I'm going with this, but I'm not sure how to word it. And then you see guys in football, and I feel like there were team guys, but you never heard of them.
I get it.
You know what? You don't. The guys in football, that fan, and I think it's because that fan base, because you can be a baseball and football fan, but there's still that diversive difference in a baseball and a football fan.
The best way I've heard it described is kind of what you're getting at, is saying in baseball, you always see the faces.
Yeah.
In football, they're blocked with the face mask.
Exactly. So you don't see all the role players.
So and also to me, it's like you could be from far away, unless you're diehard like yourself, you're a Lions fan. You can say me and I can name off a couple Lions players, a couple whatever, but I couldn't tell you who their starting guard was.
Exactly. And I think that's a lot. And then I think too is,
you can ask me who was like the shortstop, like in the 85 series,
right?
Or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, and you think about it with football too, like especially in the quarterback position. Well, I guess it's any of the main positions, but especially in the quarterback, you look at Marino's era. I mean, you had Marino, you had Elway, you had Montana. You look at the markets
But
they
see,
played.
we had that discussion too. It's like, but Elway didn't get his rings until later in his career.
And you look at Favre, and how Marino is not in that, I don't understand. The only thing, the other thing I always think of is sometimes I think Peyton Manning, kind of affected Dan Marino. Because,
I agree with that.
You know, for the longest time it was Manning and Brady, like, so now we have Allen, Mahomes, and Hurts, and this guy's this guy, and this guy's this guy. I remember when it used to be like, well, you know, and Drew Brees was in that too, or Favre. It was, Favre was like Marino, they're the gunslingers, or and maybe not even Peyton Manning, maybe it was more Favre in that, but you know, it was those guys were getting compared to these guys, and I think and then they just set the bar. What Manning and Brady did, like, just fucking hurt everybody. They just made it. And then, you know, because Marino's in the same kind of boat. I feel like Marino, you know, Marino was a freak daddy, like amazing.
He was.
And I think, you know, it's the same can be said for Drew Brees, even though he got a Super Bowl.
Yes, he did get a Super Bowl.
You hear all them some bitches talking about all those guys.
Yeah.
And, you know, Brady was, if you remember, Brady was still breaking Brees records.
Yeah.
As well as Manning records.
Yeah.
And you never hear him get mentioned with the other two. You hear Manning and Brady all the time.
No.
And you don't hear, like, Brees, like, oh yeah, and him too. You're like, and him too. And I feel like Marino is that and him too. And you're like, how does this work? It's LaDainian Tomlinson. It goes right back to the LaDainian Tomlinson theory. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, how those guys, you know, and in baseball, it's, you know them all. Like, you guys can compare and contrast guys every day. As long as nobody keeps saying that Eric Hosmer's their favorite fucking player, we're fine. I told all y'all, fuck that guy, he sucks. He sucked in, he sucks now.
Now,
fucking Eric.
I'm going to ask you this, because you watch probably a lot more pro football than I do. I'm a casual, I guess you say, Chiefs fan. You know, they went for the city, great for the city more than anything. Now, 2-part question. Are the Chiefs in trouble? Well, it's kind of a 3-part question. Can they make a run? And then your last part is, will your Lions make a run?
Chiefs?
Are the Chiefs? Are they?
Chiefs? Okay. So,
what's your take on it?
I think I know anybody that hates on the Chiefs is going to say the Chiefs aren't a dynasty yet.
Yeah.
But if you look over the last, if you look at since Patrick Mahomes became the starting quarterback of that football team, and look at every dynamic stat, every single stat, wins, losses, performance, and stuff. Now, I think they need one more trophy for everyone to shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah.
And just be like, yeah, but they're on the fine line now. And when you become the team that everybody hates, and they're there. Like, no Kansas City fan, you know as well as I do, none of us will ever admit we're the Patriots. We are absolutely the Patriots.
Yeah.
The
Chiefs have basically become the Patriots.
We are the full blood. There ain't no fucking doubt about it. And if you didn't know, the Bills and Bengals remind everybody, any Bills and Bengals fan anytime, all day. But
and Baltimore fans from time to time.
Exactly. Yes. God, Lamar owns the Chiefs, but let's neither here nor there. But I don't think they're in trouble yet. Now I think they lose tomorrow. Which I don't want to be the negative Nancy, but I think they're going to.
Yeah.
A lot of people would think the Bills are in shambles. The Bills and Chiefs games are worth the price of admission every time. There's never not a fun one. Yeah. Josh Allen and Mahomes play at a different level when they play each other. So it's funny, over the years, they could both be playing absolutely lights out, and you're going to get the most lights out two of them you can get. Or one of them each time is playing like ass leading into that game, and all of a sudden you got 400 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. And you're going to get that probably.
I think Chiefs are going to miss Pacheco tomorrow
huge,
a lot.
Huge.
Yeah.
But the one good thing is the only fucking like 4 games Clyde Edwards-Helaire that's ever been worth of shit were against the Bills.
Been against,
The only time he's ever played for shit. But I think trouble, I guess the way I see it is trouble for the Chiefs is not trouble for the Lions would be in a different kind of trouble as the Chiefs are. Let's just say that. So the Chiefs' trouble is if they have to play away from home for the first time in the playoffs, they're still going to win the division because no matter what happens, there's still the Raiders.
Yeah,
and there's still the Chargers. And there's still the Chargers. And we know what happens there. Daddy does daddy things, and they'll be fine. And there's still the Patriot game.
Yeah.
That's you flex that. It don't matter if the Chiefs were having a losing season. You're flexing that game out because it's still going to happen.
Yeah.
But you take that. I think they get in, and then that defense is Super Bowl caliber.
Yes, it is.
They've had to. And you look at the games they've lost. They're fucking themselves out of a couple of them. They had the Eagles beat. No one can say they didn't.
Yeah.
They had them beat. You know, the two shittiest games they've had. That game against the Broncos was pathetic.
Yes.
That was dog shit. That was just like the Colts game that year. You know, but again, it's the receivers. There's got to be something's got to happen, or either that or Mahomes has got to quit trying to be Superman and make a less risky throw and play smarter. And I think in the playoffs, I just think playoff Pat's different than regular season Pat, and I think there's enough guys on that roster that they know. And what was awesome last year, since Creed and all of them were rookies, you roll in and you win a Super Bowl out the gate. You know what's expected. You know what you're doing. I think they handle it better. So in the playoffs, I don't think they're in trouble there because I wouldn't want them coming into my stadium if it's the first time they've ever been.
Yeah.
Not at home and say, hey, your Patrick Mahomes is how the greatness is. Your Patrick Mahomes' first opponent he's ever played in the playoffs, not at home. There's no pressure on you guys that this dude's now here, you know, and then the Lions.
I was going to say, I think when I watch the games, I think it's almost like we're going to toy with you. We're going to just, I watch this like they almost put it on cruise control.
They never seem like they're taking it serious.
They don't look like they're taking it serious. And it's, you know, I think, honestly, you know, it's like all the, you know, that they talk about Travis and Taylor Swift.
Right.
I don't think that's a big a distraction people want it to make it out to be. You know, I think Travis is how many years in now?
Oh, at least 11, I think. I want to say it's 11. He's getting up there.
He's up there. He's coming to the end of his career.
Yeah, he's getting there.
He's probably just, let's get through the season.
Yep.
You know, we're going to do what we got to do to get it through the season, then playoffs come and turn it on.
I truly think that's how they
they're the capability, and I think they have the capability of doing it. You know, the receiving core is the receiving core. I laugh about what you read on social media sometimes about the receiving core. You know, these guys are still there for a reason.
Yeah.
They think they're making money because, you know, but when I watch them play, it's like they're almost toying around with people.
Exactly. And that's, if last year I felt like that's how, you know, because last year there was this happened last year too. There were games like this where you're like, man, what the fuck? And like, and like I said, we're like the Patriots now. KC fans are really bad, and you know this from, you know,
spoiled.
Yeah, they're not fucking okay with anything better than fucking perfect. So if you know, and I catch myself doing it,
like it's a KU basketball fan.
Yeah, I catch myself doing it all the time. If I had $1 for every time in the first half, I'm not like, you motherfuckers ought to put up 90 on these guys. Quit playing. And then in the fourth quarter, I have to go to work the next day, and I'm mad as shit at 11 to 15. waiting for goddamn Bucker to kick a field goal, and I'm thinking, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
I feel like, and plus, honestly, dude, I feel like it's. I'm not gonna go with the bullshit script, but man, you can't. Football's just funny like that. It's
It is.
a lot of coincidental shit happens,
Yeah.
and when I think in the playoffs, I just think that everything kind of just whatever happened once you get in,
Yeah.
I think we're right back where we were.
Yeah. It's
I
everybody
think
starts over. Yeah.
I think the bigger thing is, sure, great, the Ravens get in. That's awesome. We've seen what happens when the Ravens get in before.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bengals ain't coming, so the narrative of Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes is gone because now we got Jake Browning, and ain't nobody give a fuck about no Jake Browning. So he's gone. And then the Bills are trash. And even if they win, they're still trash. Sorry, Cody Thomas, but they're trash. You got that. Then we already beat Miami, and we didn't play good.
Yeah.
We smacked them right in the fucking mouth. I'm like, we didn't play good.
I think
it's 49ers, Eagles is what everyone should be focused on. That shit over there is what's real right now. Fuck the AFC. Don't worry about the Chiefs. They'll be there. They'll see you in a little bit. That over there.
Everybody got a taste of what the 49ers are.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey's a fucking cheat code.
McCaffrey is. I tell you, I joke because I always say is like Christian McCaffrey just made every little white boy happy that now they think they could be a running back.
Yeah.
Just like Wes Welker and all those guys, Cooper Kupp. Right. Oh crap! Now we got white boys who play wide receiver.
Right. Remember, guys, they're built different. They are them.
Christian McCaffrey is that dude.
He is that dude.
He is a freak. I'm sorry, you can sit here and say Derrick Henry is that dude, but Christian McCaffrey is that dude.
Well, and you look at that game, dude. Kyle Shanahan is a coach. Dude, holy shit. So, damn well Debo called that dude, just called him trash last year when he went all in on what's his butt, Bradbury or whatever. Just went all in on. So what's Debo do? You send him out there and he just goes off.
Yeah.
Debo goes off. You can't do anything with Christian McCaffrey. You got a quarterback that no one had ever heard of in their life. Running that offense, staying healthy, not turning the ball over. And then now you got Chase Young.
They have an offensive line.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Big boy, what's his name? Left tackle.
Oh, God, yeah.
I know who you're talking about. When he fucking smoked the dude in the face from the Giants?
Yes.
And he posted to Twitter, teach your man how to squabble. That was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Teach your man how to squabble. But and then their defense, man. Like they had those 3 games where they kind of like I don't know what happened, deer in the headlights.
People were
they're done. And then you enter Chase Young. You got the Ohio State connection coming from there, and you're like, oh,
hello,
yeah. That team is a fucking monster squad.
They are going to be the one. I think them and the Eagles are your favorites to win it all.
And
I think I don't know if that one game alone kind of submits the 49ers better. Of course, they will because they beat the Eagles at home. But when you're in the playoff scenario, it's different. But God, they've been there.
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they and that's what last year's Eagles. I thought the same thing, and I'm not knocking last year's Eagles versus Chiefs, but that whole Super Bowl, I had a bad feeling. I'm like, boy, we don't match up good. Man, the Eagles are bad dudes. Jalen Hurts is him. He's a him. That whole team, Skinny Batman, is a nightmare for us. And I'm like, and then boom, it's just one big play, Nick Bolton, Mizzou man, and all of a sudden, here we are. But my Lions. So here's my thing there when you're asking me if they're in trouble. I think they'll win the division.
Yeah.
Fuck Green Bay. Jordan Love. But that that Vikings and them playing good, but I think they'll get in each other's way. The Lions have played good enough on offense to win that division.
Uh-huh.
I do not think their playoff run goes good unless they get in a pretty much a no defense game score fest.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a shootout with them. If it's a barn burner shootout and everybody forgets to play defense, I would take them with anybody.
Yeah.
If it comes down to you got to hold somebody on a 4th and 1 or the tush push or a 3rd and 5 with any of those teams when it matters, the defense ain't there. They don't have another rusher besides Aiden Hutchinson. The injuries in the secondary, their secondary's dog shit. You can light them up for 400 yards.
Aiden Hutchinson is that guy.
Oh, he's a freak. But
He
the problem
is a freak at Michigan, and he has rolled it over.
I love it.
To the pros.
Problem too there is you got Goff, and I don't have in Goff we trust in me. When they play a team that can get to the quarterback, Goff does Goff things. So, but that running back combo. Woo!
Last question for you, man. College. I'm gonna go back to college.
All right.
Who wins it? Who wins it? Who do you think wins it?
Bama. I hate it, but Bama. They've been there.
Who do you think they played against?
I would love to see them play Washington.
I would too.
I think that'd be awesome. However, I guess I'm on the fence. Michigan looks scared good. Like, boy.
I think people are sleeping on Michigan because, of course, it's the Big Ten versus SEC, and that's always never fared well for the Big Ten. But I don't think people. That's why I said my always debate is because I sit there and go. People always kind of when you make comments or stuff on social media or Facebook or anywhere else that they all come out. It's like you just seen like the last few games. Like, did you watch Michigan? Like I no doubt in my mind that Ohio State wasn't beating Michigan at home. They were
Michigan's a better football team.
That good.
Yeah, Michigan's
I think
better football team.
They're reading far too much into the reaction when they realize they're facing Alabama. Everybody, did you see the reaction?
Yep.
I think they're like, okay. Like,
they don't care. Harbaugh.
These boys are about to grind them out.
I can see it.
I think it's going to come down to the line. It's going to come down to the offensive, defensive line.
Yeah, I can see it.
I want to see Michigan, Washington in the national championship game. That way you can say fuck you. Be fuck you to the SEC teams.
Finally, no SEC.
And finally, no SEC. Plus, you got two of the most hated teams. I hated Texas and Alabama.
Yep. And it's Bama's
I think Georgia took Alabama too lightly.
Oh yeah.
I think because of the way they cruised into and I thought they were just going to say, hey, Bama's going to fall to us, and they didn't.
They did not.
I think they saw the way they played against Auburn and thinking, we got this. God, Georgia's that line.
They're good.
Them are men.
Yeah.
I am hoping to God and I'm praying that Florida State beats Georgia.
I would love
it. And they have the ultimate fuck you to the committee.
Yeah, I would love it.
Should have left us in there.
I would love for every team that's always there. I would love for everything, the narrative to change, to make the conversation even worse and harder and enforce it and make them have to make some kind of changes.
I think if you went to 8 teams, everybody said, someone's going to be left out. But then there's no discussion because you take all Power 5 conference champions.
Yeah, everybody's
no one gets left out.
Everybody's in there.
Then your at-large comes into it. Exactly. Because then, you come down to is, 8. I mean, you look at it, Missouri was ranked 9th.
Right.
We beat so-and-so, we did this, we deserve it, But I think what you say is like, okay, we have all the conference champions, are going. Then you at-large bids, like who's the second best in each conference. You mean to tell? That's why I go. You mean to tell me that you take a one-loss Georgia team, just lost. Now they're pissed off, and you throw them in a 6 or 18 format,
right?
And they're not going to come out here and
we're talking with 34 in a row, 34 wins or something before that.
28 in a row, 29 in a row, yeah.
29 in a row. Was that back-to-back national titles?
Back-to-back national titles.
Back-to-back national titles. 29 wins in a row. They got beat by a team that is no slouch to national titles over the few years either. And all of a sudden now you guys aren't even in. And then Florida State's over here undefeated, going, "Hey, we're Florida State, we're undefeated," and everyone's like, "Well, that's cool, man, but your quarterback ankle's still here." I'm like, "Let's go. What are we doing?
Okay.
Get them in there. Get them all in there. I would love if they did it that way, made the playoffs. Just let them all get it on."
Yeah.
Because then on any given day with those guys, you see it. They could beat each other, and it's great.
Yeah.
Because it's what my favorite part. I guess my favorite part about bowl games too is when we get to this part is it's almost like that vaunted dangerous defense that they all have.
Yeah.
Like the number one defense in the nation. As soon as they get in the big game, when we get to New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, all of a sudden everyone's scoring 70.
Yeah.
Or it's like 44 to 43 because they ain't got nothing left. Everything's going out there. The tank's getting emptied. Fuck your defense. We're throwing every play we got out there. There's 3 running backs that run for like $150 and 2 tutties. Every wide receiver that's got a name goes nuts. Then you have this one guy that you didn't even know who he was all of a sudden catch 10 balls for 200 yards. You're like, this is the best shit ever.
That's why I say with Florida State, everybody wants to see offense. And they think because he's out that they're not going to see offense. But have you ever watched their defense?
Yeah, they're pretty tough.
They have NFL guys
everywhere,
all over that field.
Everywhere.
And the top defense in the nation. One, if not one of the top defenses.
Yeah.
This is a fun time of year for me, man. I enjoy it. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah, and man, and you never know. They could shut down any team in the country just as easy as they could blow out 50 points.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that and who I feel bad for is I think of Ray and the guys that just love Florida State because, man, every Florida State fan I've ever known is like, they love them. So, this is, they've been waiting for this for a long time.
I tell you what, one of my favorite, one of my favorite players all time, work done Florida State.
Remember Charlie Ward?
Charlie Ward.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I tell you what, man. I know, like you, I know it's a little different though because you're not a big hoops guy. This is my favorite time of the year. You have the NFL dwindling down and stuff starts to get heated, so those games become fun to watch. You have the winter meetings of baseball. You think of it, well, shit. Another month or two, baseball's going to be heating up.
Yes, it is.
Spring training coming. You like me, College World Series will start here soon.
The best thing in the world.
You have, with me, Christmas Day I enjoy because you have football mixed in with NBA. College basketball is right now.
It's good time, man.
Fan, a sports fan like you and I are one and the same that way. This is a fun time of the year.
It's great, man.
Then when
takes a little stress off realizing how much money just went out the door for Christmas too.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ, I'm broke. Thank God sports are on because I can't fucking go anywhere else.
Well, brother, I tell you what, man, it's been. Hey, we got to continue to do this. It's
absolutely, man.
It's a fun little way. I enjoy catching up with you.
Me too, man. It's been fun.
If anybody I know will speak his mind, it's going to be you. Especially, and I the way the direction of the show I want to go is like this. You have those days you talk to certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Those days, man, let's talk about the stuff we see on TV in everyday life, man. It's
right, yeah.
That's why I called it the banter.
Yep.
It was just bantering. pop something on a Saturday. Let's do it again, brother. Like I said, I gotta give a shout out, Berserk Athletics, all your custom uniform needs. As appreciative, James. All that, we get the name out there, man. But hey, till next episode, appreciate you, man. Hold on one second.
Sounds good, man.